The head-to-heads up here. We're getting ready for game number 1 of the Crew Battle Invitational. HazardL versus Dexterr on Small Brawlhaven.
And here we are. The weapon is taken by Dexterr, sword in hand. And now, so the sword, I feel like the sword dominates the greatsword, right? That's how I feel. It's too fast. It's too active for the greatsword to really leak in there, and it's covering a lot of ground space that the greatsword wants to work in. Whenever you throw out those neutral lights. So I mean, he
has to pick up a greatsword.
He has to pick one up, right?
He has just been getting babies at the edge there with these side airs. Finally, one's picked up, and let's see. So I agree with points about that analysis there, and in particular that I feel like greatsword has difficulty with weapons that can actually just dash into its space. It kind of has a bit of a dead zone similar to blasters in the sense that when greatsword opens up in neutral, you just lunge forward so far that anybody that can just attack you while stacked on top of you, which, I mean, sword side light, sword neutral light, it works out great. And we see HazardL there does stabilize with the greatsword, switches back over to the sword, throws the weapon forward, and now Dexterr and HazardL are really fighting for these first stocks. You know, Zip, this is something that's so fascinating about this. I can already feel them going, oh man, every stock that I lose is a detriment to the team, right?
Exactly.
It's not like this is just one stock in a best of 5 here. And there he goes. Dexterr down to 2 stocks, and we go right over to DB here.
DB is in the building, but what's crazy to me is that Hazard was on the side. It looked like that stock was toast.
Yeah.
I really thought while we were speaking about the greatsword that was the end of that stock. Yeah. But right now, we need to see that stock end, and there it is. DB is going to even up for his team.
That
Only
was
went to yellow.
Really well-placed. Side air 2 caught him right out of the recovery. We saw those stuffed recovery effects, and people often forget, yes, side air is actually a knockout move. It's pretty darn good. I mean, granted, you'll probably only see that early on Brawlhaven, but now uses up to the plate with the Roland. Highest defense Lance Legend that you can possibly ask for. And goes right over to the sword to be able to fight against DB. And DB's actually been starved for quite a bit. This is great damage coming out from Hughes.
Definitely. Came out the gate swing, and that could have been... Ooh, is it still going to be the end? No,
DB!
Land it.
He didn't touch the ground. Oh, he does touch the side of the stage. I thought Hughes was going to go for a weapon toss down or a ground put or something, but DB playing really risky there. But he wants to get that early stocks. And due to the format of this crew battle, right, when a stock is gone, the next player comes in. So you're not just losing all 3 of your stocks and then going on to the next person, right? So the way that you're playing against these things is really different. If you have a matchup that you feel like you're particularly strong against or not, you may want to go for those really risky plays that we just saw DB do with the scythe.
Definitely. I feel like I wish Hughes would have got a little bit more risky on the edge right there. Saw all the jumps expended, and now you're going to lose your stock to a Sayer, and the red team is taking the lead. I like the scythe in hand to try to, maybe you can get you a quick 0 to death KO, but
DB!
What's going to happen?
It has been all DB so far, yet to get hit by Power Ranger, dodges out of the side air. He opened up this stock with a side stick, and that is the first hit that Power Ranger's gotten on DB all of this stock. And DB, since he came in after Dexterr, has yet to lose the stock, and he's done so much work on Power Ranger here.
Yeah, that's big time damage. It's only about, it's like goldish, right? It's almost to red, and I think that's definitely what you need to do for your team. And here we are, Fiend in the building, tacking it on instantly, no weapon in hand, and just landing neutral unarms, man.
Yeah. Okay, Fiend is here. Anchor for the team, gets the sidelight, tries to go for the neutral stick read. And Power Ranger with that down air recovery. Let's see if Power Ranger can have a performance akin to DB's on that last stock where DB came in at a deficit, got the lead for the team. Fiend versus Power Ranger, though, is quite the matchup. And the side stick comes through, and Power Ranger is out. All that extra credit that DB got is paid off. And now HazardL is coming in on the JU, and weapons being starved? No. Sword picked up, and he's got to take down Fiend to make it onto his next opponent.
If Fiend takes this stock, man, are you going to call it insurmountable?
Oh, no.
No, we're not doing that?
Just because, okay, I think that using Power Ranger in particular, it depends on how offset things get, right? Like if we keep, I actually think it's more insurmountable if it keeps going 1 stock apiece. I think that the red team will just end up winning. So we'll have to see, because once the matchups get disjointed, beautiful. I don't know. There's the neutral stick that'll come from out from HazardL, and it's not too bad. This is about the difference in damage that there's been between both teams the entire game.
Yeah, this is how it stays when you're very closely matched, all right? This is how this mode goes. But I'm liking that each team is making sure that they don't go too far behind. You don't want to take that 2 stock deficit, and they're staying within 1 or tied the whole time.
So
and right
last
now,
time,
this greatsword's looking great.
Yeah. So last time we saw this matchup, it was purely sword versus sword. And HazardL just was able to take it back after what was almost an amazing edge guard from Dexterr. I want to see if Dexterr can make up for that, or now that we're back onto this matchup again, has HazardL had the time to adapt how Dexter's playing in this particular match, and is he just going to take a super solid lead? Because it looks like it. He hasn't been put on the edge at all this game.
Yeah, Hazard. So I said earlier that the sword versus sword was the better matchup, and I think he just showed me that the great sword is the answer to the sword of Dexterr. But now the gauntlets are in hand. Boom, puts it together, and that's going to be the stock. Nice combination.
I love the matchup that we're getting between Dexterr and HazardL as it's happening, because every time one player has the lead, it's the other player that's been getting the stock. And now we're back in the favor of the red team here. Dexterr taking down HazardL. The sider from Use cleans that up right away, and we're back to that even matchup between DB and Use. Now, last time, DB was responsible for saring HazardL off the side of the stage and then taking Use to bring it over to Power Ranger. If Use can take down DB here, I think that gives Green Team a super solid lead.
And Use, DB actually had a lot more damage on him when he came in last time, so now he's free to work, right? But he's getting worked by the Lance, that newly buffed Lance.
Yeah, well, and so it's funny that you mentioned the Lance there, because the amount of time that you have weapons in your hand in this crew battle format, because they're only using one stock at a time, is pretty small, right? So if you could get your hand on a weapon of choice that you like in that matchup, that's huge. And Use now switching over to the sword, putting up the down six, trying to keep DB from landing on the stage. Gets up the D-Light Sider. This could be it for the Green Team. They could get a really huge lead here if he's able to get the downer, but no, the weapon throw up covers DB's head. He makes it back to the stage.
Yeah, it made him have to adjust, made Use have to adjust the way he approached with that down air just perfectly to where he was able to, DB was able to get back on the stage, and now got the axe in hand, and Use has the lead, but he's got to be wary of getting hit by that axe, but trying to get a sight that looks like DB is.
Okay, Use. I like what he was going for. He likes to go for the weapon throw up with the Lance, bounce him off of it, get a combo with it, but he doesn't quite get it, and is it going to be another side air knockout for DB? He goes to the ground, catches it, oh! Use went for the D-Light punish, the neutral stick slides right over it, Use still gets the recovery, and that is a lead for the Green Team, and what previously was a huge comeback for the Red Team when DB did it the first time around.
I was so scared that neutral stick was going to get
punished.
Oh, like
and he misses the down light and the neutral stick just hits him?
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing was going to happen. Like, that is some Volkov nonsense. What?
Able to capitalize off the chase dodge up, but you know, it's something that you just can't really give away. I get that you capitalize afterwards, but you can't just allow him to get that chase dodge upwards, because that could have been a turnaround.
Man, Zip, what better of a match could we have gone for this for game one, right? Like, all of the things that I want to talk about when it comes to possibilities of crew battles, it's just off the table. These are just 3 best of 3s at this point, because the players are doing such a great job cleaning up after each other. The variance is so small. It's really on Fiend and Power Ranger here to see who's the more powerful anchor, and Fiend goes up for that edge guard. Ground pound hits. The Power Ranger jumping gets the downer. Is that it? The ground pound gets it, and Fiend, beautiful on that stock, bringing down everybody on the Green Team to their last stock. That means every time that a player goes down here, they're out for this game.
That edge guard was maximum coverage, no Verizon. I'm telling you, covered everywhere he wanted to go. He had reception.
Definitely. I mean, look at it. I mean, and it wasn't even like a matter of Power Ranger getting greedy with his recoveries either, right? Because that's emphasizing the maximum coverage there, because it was 4 consecutive like downers or ground pounds covering each time that Power Ranger got back to the stage, until eventually the knockback was just enough to take him down. And now look at what Fiend's doing to HazardL here on this last stock.
Yeah, doing some good damage, but I feel like, see, I was literally gonna say 1-6 gonna take this stock, and it happened.
Yeah, and Jay Insight's like, it's pretty darn good for sweeping anybody off the stage in any direction on Brawlhalla. So HazardL now with the great sword. We were talking about this before, right? Weapon matchup aside, Dexterr seems to be having a real tough time against this weapon when he had the sword in hand. So now he's like, okay, last time I got the comeback in this matchup with the gauntlets. Who's gonna win this? Because right now, in the grand scheme of like all of the one stock matchups that's been happening throughout this crew battle, they're 1-1. HazardL has won the first encounter, Dexter's won the second. Who's going to win this best of 3 in a sense? We're going to find out in just a little bit, as Dexterr is getting that damage lead.
It looks like Hazard is doing a very good job with that great sword. It was a lot of spacing and keeping the gauntlets away from being able to play. But now the weapon tossers are coming into play. No weapon in hand for Hazard. Dexterr going to be able to capitalize. Weapon starve attempt, no.
Nice landing neutral right there. getting that little bit of extra knockback instead of using the nair. Oh, I can't believe he spot dodged that. And he gets the recovery up the top. That was such a beautiful punish. I mean, that was all or nothing there for HazardL on that. And now with that hit, man, it's funny because when he hits the ground, right, the boulder still connects. So I was for sure that Dexterr was off. But Hughes looks like he wants to equalize this right away. He wants to make this the most dead even matchup you could possibly have with DB. Let's see, can Dexterr do anything? No, he can't. This is as close as it gets, Zip.
Quick sig,
covers
covers the space, popped in the left field. It's a home run. And it's an even game, perfectly even. Actually, I think this is the most even it's been yet. They have whites on both stocks.
Yeah.
One is 2 stocks each. For each team, we are down to the wire.
And between DB and Hughes, both of them have won against each other once in this crew battle. And so right now, favoring team of the red team, right? Dexter's been doing a much better job against his opponent, HazardL. And now Hughes is trying to do something about DB, but DB refuses to get hit. The lance sent flying from Hughes' hand. He avoids one side sig, but DB still going strong with Volkov on the axe. Is looking for, that pivot ground pound was crazy. Sider gets him 2 weapon throw, tries to chase him all the way up. Okay, DB.
Oh my
Hello?
gosh,
I was so scared. I thought he was gonna fall, and that was just gonna be it. Hughes is still jarred from that, right? He's like, what just happened? DB's chasing him off stage. Okay, Hughes, nair, recovery, good damage coming through, and DB might be risking a bit too much with all the style right now.
Yeah, definitely trying to style and profile, but and you're just allowing yourself to take damage that is unnecessary. Hughes finally able to put something on. Weapon toss up, goes up to get it. No, not even gonna chase down. Tries to cover with the down sig. And what's the option? Just scaring him, keeping him in place. Got 2 exclamation marks into a Sair, and you're out of there.
Okay, it is all on Power Ranger here to be able to win it for the green team. DB only in light orange, did a great job against Hughes, and this is an amazing start, right? That's what you want to see as any Scythe player. Getting the down light, getting the active input in, getting the read with the nair, and attacking on even more damage. Power Ranger hits 1 hit with the bow, sword goes over, and he wants that 1v1 against Fiend. Let's see if he can do it. Recovery hits. Can he get a D-Light recovery? No. DB continues to get that extra credit. He wants to make this as unfair for Power Ranger as possible. Oh, but the side sig whiffs. The D-Light recovery comes out, and we are down to a last stock scenario, Fiend versus Power Ranger.
All right, Fiend. You got to hold it down for your team. You don't want to come in here with DB putting in all that work and setting you in the position to win, and then you blow it. But you are going against Power Ranger.
Oh, Sidelight hits the neutral and gets him. I thought that was going to be it. Power Ranger just barely survived, but decides to hit and Fiend puts down the flag after that, barely getting touched. Didn't even need the extra credit from DB, but he was thankful for it as Team Red takes game 1 in this crew battle.
That was amazing. I love it. That was great. That was a great starting round.
Oh, we're going to see some highlights here from the replays. This is DB versus Hughes. Jumps right over the down stick. If anybody wants to know how you counter that move, that's how you do it, right? You jump around, you land with the sider right afterwards. You're like, oh, but it's so good. It covers so much of the stage. Well, you're getting a masterclass right now here in the South America Crew Battle Invitational. Dexterr, was this the D-Light? Yeah, D-Light recovery.
D-Light recovery.
The entire stock was like, Dexter's losing, he's losing, he's losing. Hey, he took the stock. Wow, way to go. Oh, that was crazy.
Oh, I think that was one of the biggest moments.
Still get the combo.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh, the spot dodge from Dexterr. You know, now that I think about it, that was such a huge moment for the red team, for Dexterr to not lose that stock there against Hughes because how close that crew battle was going the entire time. It could have been a completely different story if DB went down to that side sig, or Dexterr went down to that side sig. So really great play from both teams. And honestly, Zip, I think that the counter pick order, right, for the green team is really going to matter here.
We're going to see what they do. Because in that game, I felt like DB was the MVP. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
I think that, I
think it was like we were talking about at the very beginning, that moment where you were like ready to call curtains for one team, and it was just like
it was too early.
Well, it was pretty early, but we both watched quite a bit of Brawlhalla, right? We get a vibe when we're thinking like, okay, I don't think the matchup's going to get too much more explosive from here. It's going to be pretty close. And I think a reason why you were thinking that until DB started playing was that it was really just going one player against another, and then you get a stock, the other player comes in, wipes the other stock, it's done. DB was the one player who didn't do that. He was really the only player that took a stock and then continued to go, take another stock before his stock was up, and really secured that lead for the red team, and contributed ultimately to that win.
And put in a lot of damage when they came in, especially at the end when it really, really mattered. He came in and he put that, what did he get him to about? Orangish red?
Yeah,
he got Power Ranger
and then Fiend
red.
comes in, side light, neutral sig, side sig, done.
That
was it. It was every
easy.
single landing that he caught. So I'm wondering, with you mentioning that, if green team's going to look to try and use a player in particular to snipe DB in the lineup, right? Are they going to think, is DB still going to be in that second place spot? Should we move Power Ranger up a little bit, maybe put HazardL as the anchor instead? Because HazardL and Dexterr, they had a pretty good matchup, but let's face it, we really didn't get to see we didn't really get to see any player fight any other player besides DB, right? Like it was just they were sticking to their best of threes.
That's it. They stuck to exactly who they were supposed to be fighting. Well, if you look at the way it's charted, right? Everybody should be fighting everybody if the leads get a little lopsided. But they kept it from getting like that. And whoa, I like it. The Negan Jae-Yun.
That's right.
That's
Sometimes
a cool skin.
sometimes you just need a little bit of an aesthetic change when you're going in from games 1 to game 2, right? And the green team coming in.
So did they swap it? Or?
They did. They
Okay.
did. They put Power Ranger into Snipe DB, which is something that I was thinking about. I wasn't sure if they were going to do it, but Use is now the anchor. And Power Ranger is going to be in that position to stop DB from being able to get that lead or comeback, right? Either one, because he did both in the previous crew battle. But HazardL and Dexterr still going to be the opening. And I like this because the matchup was so darn close that it was hard to say that it was like, okay, one player counters the other. It's just going to be a matter of if HazardL can get the great sword against Dexter's sword, and when Dexterr goes over the gauntlets, he switches over to his sword, I think, if we're looking for how the green team comes back in this crew battle.
For sure, for sure. I mean, one of the things that we did notice when they were going against each other is
Ooh, HazardL. Can't hit with a silent recovery hits. Recovery into Nair. Down air hits, and now HazardL is really close to being able to take a huge lead here. And this is the biggest lead that either of these players have had against each other. HazardL goes in for that combo starter on the Greatsword, doesn't get the bridge, and the neutral light from Dexterr comes out instead. And there is a little bit of what we were talking about the sword can do against Greatsword. He puts up the sidelight opener, doesn't reach, and the sword sidelight actually outranges it, but there's the neutral sig after the opener, catches Dexterr not dodging, and takes him off the top.
that was actually the same way that he took the first stock he stole in game 1. Put a little string together and go for that neutral sig. It's just such a big hitbox. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
Take you out over the top. Like you said, this character can take you out front, side, left, right. It doesn't matter.
And HazardL doing such a better job against DB here in game number 2. Already, like when you see a 3-piece greatsword string coming through, right? That's just so much damage.
Yeah.
Look, he gets the get with the sidelight finisher. He goes off with the side sig, and because he doesn't touch the ground, he gets the aerial attack. Doesn't hit DB on the way back up. Avoids the neutral sig. That was smart. That was smart, just a little misplaced. But I liked what he was thinking.
I thought that we were going to see an unarmed recovery to be the punish there, and that's going to be the end of the stock for Hazardous. But he did a lot of damage.
Yeah, he did.
Lot of damage.
Now we get to see if the green team strategy pays off here, because Power Ranger is up a spot earlier. Yu sitting down there at the anchor. Power Ranger wants to stop DB from potentially getting any further of a lead for the red team here, and he's doing fantastic so far.
Oh.
Look at that. Nair and a neutral stick at the landing. Caught DB trying to fastball back to the stage, and instead DB doesn't get the return at all, as Fiend is now here as the anchor for the red team.
Pinpoint accuracy with that neutral sig. I love when people land these sigs with Koji, because me, myself, I struggle. Because there's no coverage with those, right? It's just dead on. It has to be
It's
spot
not
on.
quite Scarlet neutral sig on Lance, right?
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, there's just a giant ball, and I'm the hurt box, right? No, Koji, you get that benefit of the extra range, though, for the fact that you have to be so precise. And so when players can do it, it's always incredibly impressive to me. And now we have got Fiend versus Power Ranger. Fiend trying to take Power Ranger down to go against Use. Depending on how much damage Power Ranger going to get here, would be a massive lead for the green team. But the D-Light recovery, that high up in the sky, that's going to be it. And Use is coming in to fight against Fiend, to fight for this this final third stock in the crew battle.
That's how you anchor, right? Like, came in and made sure that you, oh my goodness, Use. But you came in and you made sure you executed before you took too much damage.
Yeah.
And now you're having to deal with Use, and you're in the anchor spot. You're fighting their anchor. You're the anchor. This is perfection. But can you sit there and take out 2 stocks, right? Your team puts you in a position where you need to take 2 to take the lead, and you're looking good. Fiend looking great.
Yeah. Fiend getting hit by that recovery, though. Use was doing a little bit of sword maneuvers that was reminiscent of how Fiend likes the edge guard. The side sticks from Use are being played around by Fiend quite nicely. And yes, Use did get a down stick a little bit early on, but now it seems Fiend's doing a good job fighting back here. Weapon throw comes forward, and Fiend trying to do the wake-up neutral light. Sider's not going to get him, but one more Sider will do it. He doesn't need anything after that. Use just needs to secure this stock for his team and get a bit of extra damage onto Dexterr to really secure.
Ooh,
I can't believe Fiend did that.
Gravity cancel.
Fiend might take the entire game off that. Like, I'm not even joking. That neutral sig was so, like, mental shattering for me. Okay, down sig, wake up from Use, amazing. I thought he was going to take that neutral sig right into a D-Light recovery and secure the red team the lead for the rest of the game, but Use holds strong.
I thought so, too. Use just didn't go over the top. He landed it, but it did not KO. And now we're going to see some Lance. I was going to say, in that matchup just now against Fiend, you saw he didn't really use Lance at all. It was all sword.
Ooh. And now we get to see Use versus Dexterr. A bit of an opposite scenario than how we're used to seeing it. Usually Hughes just needs a side air and Dexter's out of there, right? So now Dexterr on the opposite end with the sword, putting out the neutral lights, trying to catch Hughes getting over the edge, and the exclamation points are coming out. How can he make it back? Dodges, sweat beads, ground pounds for safety. Did he ever touch?
No.
He's out of there.
That's gotta hurt. Because it's just so shy, just shy of touching the ground, right?
But that animation didn't come through, and if you don't touch the ground, it doesn't matter if the sword neutral light looks like it's grabbing you.
Exactly.
You're not getting your jumps back. But he did try to get him back, and now HazardL versus Dexterr is coming through again. Last time, Hazard did such a great job getting a huge lead against Dexterr here. He might be able to take the stock without barely taking any damage at this rate. Oh, down air and there, such a beautiful true combo on the great sword. Oh, he really tried to bait him out there.
Definitely did. Just turned them back and they popped up real quick. Tried to land something swift, but does not land it. Dexterr needs to get some damage, man. Because this is just going to start opening the lead very, very large, especially the way that Hazard is playing. Man, if he keeps this up, right, so potentially he can take the stock from DB. You know what I mean? Like just last time, he did very, very well against DB. Almost was able to get the KO, was just shy. And that great sword is looking so good.
Yeah. This is one of those things where looking a little far ahead now, everybody still has a pretty good amount of stocks. But if the red team gets put in that position where they are now counterpicking the characters, maybe get Dexterr fighting against somebody that's not HazardL. Because as this crew battle's progressed, Hazard's doing a better and better job against Dexterr in the 1v1. And now DB has been getting weapon starved this entire matchup. And Hazard, with so many mix-ups on the greatsword, he's been tacking on a ton of damage.
I love the way that he's mixing it up too, right? Like nobody's getting time to sit with his great sword, so you're not really getting to recognize his patterns. So he's going, all right, this time I'm going to let the full string rip. This time I'm going to hit you once and I'm going to dodge through. This time I'm going to hit you twice and I'm going to dodge through.
So this time I'm going to hit you once and just literally wait. Like, and that's something because like depending on how the person plays Brawlhalla, nice sides, it gets to spike, right? Some people are waiting for certain visual cues to react to something. So if you hit them with the silent on the greatsword, you do nothing, and they're just like, what am I dodging to? What am I jumping to? And then you get the delayed response afterwards. Those kind of reads can really mix up an opponent. And DB severely damaged after that matchup with HazardL.
Yeah, he was tearing him to shreds with the greatsword. It was looking so good. Probably my favorite play. Big time this round. DB was the MVP last time. It's looking like Hazard this time. Sayre coming out for Power Ranger, and that lead is starting to open up for the green team.
Fiend's really got to put on the hurt here for Power Ranger. And he did a great job finishing off Power Ranger's stock in the previous matchup. But yes, when it comes to the MVP of this round, HazardL has been putting in the most damage that counts so far and really making it an easy job for Power Ranger, in particular Hughes, to be able to come in and feel a little bit more comfortable with the matchup that they got ahead of them. And Power Ranger now getting hit by that side air. Fiend goes for the side stick, but Power Ranger not falling for it this time. Is getting even more and more damage on here. This could be huge. It could be 5 stocks of 3 at this rate, Zip.
It definitely could. This is I like the attempt.
I like it. That's good. I mean, when you're this far ahead for your team, it's really interesting. Even though you are about to be knocked out from playing for a little bit, going for those leads is huge. And he didn't take the stock. Hughes is up, but Fiend severely damaged. I mean, he's a lance sider away from potentially losing the stock here.
Oh yeah, definitely. But first, he's got to get a weapon, and the sword is the choice. Oh my gosh, forget what I was gonna say, right? Just throws the ground pound. I don't need to analyze nothing.
I mean, great edge guard from Hughes, and that's unusual for me to see happen to Fiend. And that's one of those things where it's like, it's pretty unusual when you take an opponent's stock that you are suddenly in the middle of a game, no pauses, no breaks, in a completely different game. Right? And so Fiend's like adjusting, getting a weapon, goes off stage for a little bit. Wait, Hughes just did something that Power Ranger never would have done, and he lost the stock for it. And that's something that you have to think about and adapt to in these games. And now we've got Dexterr versus Hughes, and Hughes is the only player on both teams with 2 stocks left to his name.
And Dexterr hasn't been having that glowing performance in this specific round. Did pretty good against Hazard in the first round, right? But this time around, we're not really seeing too many of the KOs. But, you know, I don't think we've seen him fight Hughes.
Yeah, not to this far extent, right? And so now we've got Dexterr really sticking to the gauntlets to fight against Hughes' lance. Goes for the ground pound. Hughes, he's going to go for that ground pound off stage again. What?
Okay.
All right, Hughes might be stealing MVP status from HazardL after that one. It's rare that I say that a Roland moves so fast that I couldn't believe it, right? But that's what he just did there. Holy cow.
Oh, I don't know if that was just I'm gonna catch you off guard, or if that was did he expend the dodge already?
I just think he caught him off guard.
Just caught him off guard?
Good. Well, and the thing with the neutralite, right, is that a lot of the times Lance players at most will follow up with a downlight afterwards if you are low enough on damage, but you usually use it as a get-off-me tool. So the fact that Hughes was able to look at the damage, look at the knockback, and went, if he jumps here, he's dead. That was huge. And DB with the neutralite, sure, he takes Hughes down, but Hughes has done the greatest job of anybody on the team so far taking out those 2 stocks, and now it is 3 stocks to 2 and DB with a little bit of damage on him.
And you have to deal with Hazard coming right back out here. Great sword. You saw how swift he picked that up and put it together?
What? He has been incredible with the greatsword against DB. I feel like the setup here for the green team has been working out even better. What? Oh, I thought he was going to finish it. He's still going. He's still going. It's been 6 straight hits on the greatsword here. DB is just. DB had no idea. He was so jarred by what hit him there. He wasn't even able to touch the stage. He just fell. I can't believe it. HazardL, it's like a competition right now between Hazard and Hughes. Right now, it's like, no. I did the best this crew battle. And you know what? I think Hazard took it back. Because now Fiend has to go through 3 players on 1 stock for a chance to get this 2-0 lead for the red team.
I think Hazard has been my favorite to watch. That greatsword is, man, I can't say too much about it. I've been saying it looks great, it looks good.
Yeah.
What else can I say? It looks amazing.
Well, if we want to talk about Hazard as a player with the greatsword, too, every single player that he's been up against, he's been getting better and better as the crew battle goes along. And this is the first time we've had Fiend and HazardL against each other in this style where it's been this close in damage. D-Light neutral sig from Fiend, though, that is a tool that you want to use if you want to make a good comeback. And he gets it, but wasn't able to get the stock. Oh, is Hazard going to do it? Side sig hits. Fiend goes all the way off of that side or edge guard.
The way that Hazard is defending against the edge guard is pretty dang nice. I like the way that he went out with the recovery wide left a minute ago and then came back with a Sair and just covered that space perfectly to get back on there. And now putting himself in a position. Ooh!
Still makes it back. Dodges in. He touches the stage. Oh, he's got to be careful. Dodges back. I can't believe Fiend didn't get that edge guard. And now Hazard. This is so much pressure for Fiend, right? Hazard, there's 2 more stocks left on the team. Look at the damage that he's done to Fiend before going down. He was able to go through 3 of his opponents there. And now Power Rangers looking. What does he have to hit here? Neutral sig on bow, D-line recovery on sword. It's so. There's so much more effort that Fiend has to go through to be able to make this match possible.
Yeah, almost anything's going to do it. And it's not like I want to call it over, but it just looks that way. And the ground pound is going to say that I'm right today. Power Rangers squad, the green team, going to take the game. And look at that 869 damage.
869 damage? Okay, it is. No, it is Hazard all the way. It's nice to be able to be like, you know, it feels like he's doing a ton this game, right? Just annihilating DB, getting 7 straight hits on greatsword in a row, forcing DB off the side of the stage where he can't even recover. What an amazing performance from Hazard after that game 1 loss for the team, where really all he was doing was keeping Dexterr in check. He went to keeping the entire red team in check into that game number 2. And the switch between Hughes and Power Ranger, having Hughes be the anchor and Power Ranger really being the one to stop DB, to stop DB in case something goes wrong, was really, really smart. Amazing adaptation coming out from the green team. Amazing.
Hazard was putting them on a mixtape, man.
Yeah.
He was putting them on the track, and he was mixing and mastering it. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here, I'm over there, I'm everywhere.
Yeah, so red team's now got to do what green team did so effectively, right? And that's decide how they're going to set up their lineup or predict how they're, actually that's not how it works because they're losing. They get to react to how the lineup's going in, right?
Exactly.
So the green team's going to lock something in. Guessing the Power Rangers still going to be staying at the 2nd spot. But what does the red team have to do here to be able to deal with the fact that HazardL is now such a problem, right? Because opening up with Dexterr just seems to be giving HazardL a lot of room to fight against whoever the heck he wants, as long as the greatsword's still in his hand. Maybe they just lead with Fiend, stop him from getting anything started in the first place. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's tough to say because we just watched what he did to Fiend. So putting Fiend out first, I don't think that saves you.
Whoa.
I don't think that saves you.
So a plethora of things happened that we never would have had time to guess, right? Dexterr switches over to the Mordex. That's cool. DB on the Ragnar. Hughes on the Vector. Right? So let's go. Right? So there's a whole bunch of things happening here, right? So the green team preemptively, they brought back Power Ranger into the anchor position.
Oh.
And that's interesting to me. So that means that Hughes is now going back to following after HazardL. And Dexterr over here on the Mordex has made a complete switch up from the Stivoni that he was playing on so far in the matchup, as we've got now an even set. And HazardL and Dexterr going against each other. I like this pick. I think the Gauntlets were doing the best against HazardL out of all the weapons that he had. Now we have to just see how the signature kit and the Gauntlets and the Scythe size up against Hazard's greatsword.
Exactly, exactly. And one thing that I do love about the red team right now is that they had the faith to just say, you know what, Dexterr, get back out there and fight Hazard.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to handle this guy.
Yeah, it was one of those things where when I was talking to you about, like, should they switch him? I was like, no, wait, every other position just doesn't make any sense. I think the lineup that they've got going on right now is pretty darn good. Dexterr just has to be able to have a better matchup against HazardL, whether he takes the stock or not. As long as the damage isn't red, he's doing a lot better. And here, Hazard may have overstepped. Oh, one more sword recovery, that's it, but he's still living.
It was looking close. Almost was able to get it out of there. Just missed time from Dexterr to get that KO on a ground pound or something like that, downlight. But that one's not going to be misplaced. The recovery from Hazard is going to be working, and Hazard doing exactly what we've been seeing happen. A lot more damage on him. Dexterr did a great job putting a lot of damage, but now DB is going to have to pretty much go untouched, right? You don't want to let him put a lot of damage on you like he's been doing in every other round.
Ooh, DB.
Ooh, that was a nice turnaround save.
Yeah, that was, well, what was particularly nice about it, I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, really nice.
I gave the short version.
But even nicer is that off of the recovery, he's sweating, and when you're sweating and falling back to the stage, it's like a gut reaction for players to want to chase after you. It's like, you've got no resources left. What are you going to do? He turns around and he side airs while drifting to the left, completely catches him off guard, takes the stock. Now Hughes on the Vector. I love seeing Hughes on the Vector. Super huge bias coming up, and it's just so much fun. Look at that neutral sig, trying to read a jump that would never happen, but it was a cool move. DB on the Ragnar now, gets him with the neutral signature, and wow, this is kind of actually a tough matchup, Zip. I always put Axe in favor against Lance. Let's see what Hughes is able to do. Okay, all right, side sig. That's some Vector Ragnar shenanigans. That's the only time you're going to see that side sig knock back in that direction.
That was great. The wonkiness of that sig sent him to the other side. And here we are. Hughes is trying to find that right moment. What an unarmed sidelight to knock him off and say, nah, I'm getting this axe back. You're not going to touch me.
Nice job sneaking under the axe down there with the recovery, but Hughes is going to have to do better than that on the way back here as DB is ready for it this time. Down to get some. You know, that's what that move I feel like was like envisioned to be used for. I never see it used that way. So it's like pretty. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of like it's basically a fire trap move in the sense that you're just breathing fire, hoping somebody hits it. If they do, they trigger the attack that sends you off the top of the stage. It's just we rarely ever see it, and DB makes it work. Power Ranger comes right in as the anchor, though, evens things up quite well, and makes this game literally dead even.
So let's go talk about that Ragnar downsig a little bit.
Okay.
I like that the way that he came back onto the stage a little bit and covered that space from a distance.
Yeah.
Because generally when you see somebody do it, they kind of hang over the edge and let the fire linger out there to try to cover like wide recoveries. But yeah, so
he
just
really
like you said.
specifically covered unarmed or bow recovery, or if somebody was trying to slap the stage and dash on.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what he got. Because last time, the other edge guard that he did was an axe down air, and Hughes did exactly what he ended up covering for on the down sig and got the stock. So really well played. But here we are, Power Ranger versus Fiend. Fiend a little bit behind as Power Ranger's doing a great job as the anchor for the green team in game number 3. And that side air hits, and Fiend, he's really got to find a weapon. There it is. Sword picked up. D-Light neutral sig? No. D-Light side air. I love, because Fiend, doesn't matter who he's playing against, there's a 10% chance that it's D-Light neutral sig, and you lose your stock.
Fiend has been looking really good against Power Ranger every single set, right? Like, this is not insurmountable at all. It was looking like it was in Power Ranger's favor big time, and Fiend has tied this up and got him off the side.
Side
Power
air?
Ranger missed the side air.
Oh, side air again. Oh, he tried to side air bounce with a stage. Doesn't quite get it. Spear picked up. Okay, Power Ranger. What an amazing comeback there. And you know what? It's similar to how we were impressed with DB. It's one of those situations where looks like all your options are exhausted, but the unarmed recovery gets them, and Fiend gets punished for going for that spear recovery on the landing, and now Power Ranger has taken down 2 stocks in a row, and Dexterr has to be responsible for knocking him out and getting back into that matchup with HazardL.
This is scary, right? Because you come in as Dexterr, wow! You come in as Dexterr and you're getting hit a lot. It's so scary when you're that last line of defense. You're the reset of stocks. You really don't want to take this KO from Power Ranger. Gets hit by the second part of the side sig.
Yeah, this is huge. I can already see Dexterr kind of... Dexter's doing that thing where you're looking for unarmed attacks. Okay, well, you know what? I stand corrected. He wasn't looking. He found it, and that was perfect. But up until that point, there was a lot of unarmed attacks that he was going for instead of trying to pick up a weapon that I think was ending up in his detriment. And now he's in this matchup against HazardL. Well, Hazard's usually up at least 2 color shades of damage, right? Going up against Dexterr, and he's already starting there. So I feel like he's just going to go in for the neutral sig, neutral light finisher, do something really quick. He's going for the recovery. But Dexterr does get some damage in. Okay, this is great.
That's it. I think the biggest thing for Dexterr right now is don't play scared. You got to get as many hits as you can, right?
Oh, and he's getting them.
Yeah,
look at that.
Doing a great job. Weapon toss, no weapon. You have to sight. Try to make him, I was going to say, you know, right? Like, try to make him throw something out and waste his dodge and get jiggy on him.
Oh, Hazard. What is he going for here? You could go, it's something that I don't think I've seen Hazard do too much so far, and the sider hits and he gets the knockout. Even though it is the weakest variant of the move, Gravity Cancel Light Attack is great, so it gets you right to that finisher. And Gravity Cancel Side Light is a pretty darn good knockout move if you're trying to catch somebody off guard there. But he ends up doing same function, Sword Sider there at the end. And now he's up against DB once again, who I really feel like has adjusted to both having to fight against HazardL and Use with this Ragnar pick. But man, there's something about these openers from HazardL that just catches.
Oh,
you gotta be kidding me. What? The double down air dunk from the greatsword on HazardL. What is he is MVP of this entire set now at this point, right? He has just made so many quick comebacks here against DB, all after switching. He didn't even switch the legend, right? Just going to Negan off of Jae-Yun, and all of a sudden he's a completely different player. Fiend, he does take that stock, but he's down a whole stock in this round.
That Jae-Yun is crispy. You know, a wise man once told me, when you're playing a fighting game, right, you gotta have movement. But there's layers to it. You gotta have, you start off at movement, then you get to schmovement. And then after schmovement, you get to groovement. And when you get grooving, it's hard to stop, I'm telling you.
Oh man, and you know, I feel like the only player that's really living up to that mantra is HazardL. Because he does. Once he starts taking a stock, the next stock he takes is even faster. In game number 2, he even brought Fiend to red, and now Use here on the Vector. He's put out the side sig. Fiend tries to get, oh, that's great. He read the jump after the neutral sig whiff. And Use gets the weapon throw down, dodges back, tries to get the side air through. If Use could take the stock off of Fiend, that is almost guaranteeing the green team win for me. The only thing that Use should never do here is the Vector down sig, which means I'd pop off if he did it, but there's no way. There's no way.
You guys call that the forbidden sig, right?
Dude, it's like, I don't actually know, but I feel like it's 180 frames of startup. Okay, down sig comes through, D-Light recovery hits, Use gets him off the top. That is massive. It is 1 stock apiece for the red team, and Power Ranger and Use still have 2 stocks to play with. And HazardL is used to taking 2 to 3 stocks at a time. At this point, red team's got to pull out a miracle here, as Dexterr on the Mordex has to take the stock now without getting hit anymore if he wants to even have a chance.
That's tough. Did you just give up? Wow, what
the Vector tech, the neutral sig. And that is actually tech, right? It's similar to how Val can side sig with the sword at the wall. If you neutral sig into the wall, you're going to travel up a lot farther than if you were just to use the move regularly. Gets the damage, and Dexterr, sure, he takes the stock, but he is in orange because of Use's Vector expertise.
So what we've seen this time around, right, is HazardL being able to create these situations for them to take the lead, and his teammates capitalizing off of what he's done. Whereas last time it was really close because nobody was really capitalizing off the things he did. Power Ranger, are you kidding me? Get him out of there.
Yeah, that's huge. Dexterr going down super early. Down air gets the stuff recovery. Weapon throw for insult to injury. And now DB going up against Power Ranger. And the thing is that DB's hardest matchup so far hasn't been Power Ranger, hasn't been Use. It's been HazardL, and he's going to be the opponent that he goes after. If he can even get this, it's DB. Tries to go for the double recovery off the top. Power Ranger trying to get the reversals with the nairs. It's just been getting so much more damage here. I mean, are we going to see a 4 stock in this after Green Team lost game 1? That would be crazy.
No way. If we see a 4 stock, I'm running out of the building.
it's only the first set of the day, is it?
Exactly. And they're going to run me out of here, man.
Oh, man.
DB going to the other side to recover.
Yeah, DB's thinking about running out of the building right there. They're going to do this stitch. It's like, I got to get out of this. Oh, man. He's looking for a weapon. Oh, Power Ranger takes that one. Neutral Light catches the landing, but Power Ranger recovery dodges to the stage. I mean, Power Ranger's up a whole stock over DB here, and DB is the one that's allowing Power Ranger to have the most room to move. I mean, oh no. Is that it? Oh, Zip, it's Fiend. Last time it was 1 versus 3 stocks, I think, and now it is 1 versus
and then Fiend
4.
had taken one of them. Yep. But yeah, even if he takes this one, still going to be a 3-stock situation. It's looking really, really tough.
Oh, and Power Ranger. Oh, Power Ranger wants this. He wants this 4-stock. I actually think that in Power Ranger's mind right now, the way he's playing, I feel like if he loses the stock here, it's a loss. Like, okay, recovery hits and he goes down, but man, Power Ranger was like not allowing anything to happen. All right, Fiend, I want this comeback so badly, but HazardL has been playing like a monster. I still wouldn't be surprised if his damage was highest at the end of this game. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm gonna agree, because when you get right here, it's like, does Hazard just go buck wild and try to take the stock, or does he play it safe? Right?
Oh, well, I mean, he doesn't look like he's played it safe so far. HazardL hasn't really changed his play style per se. He has been really just learning how his opponents play so that he could do crazy stuff like that. We're talking about those gravity cancel light attacks. The down light, when gravity canceled, has that momentum downwards while you're doing that tornado slash, and he gets him towards the bottom of the stage. And now Fiend in deep red he can fall to so many attacks from Hazard. Weapon throw goes forward. He wants to finish the stock off right now. Sidelight opener comes through. Fiend kicks him away. Hazard gets hit away again, but Fiend has to do so much more. Hazard, no hesitation. Down air, nair, true combo, gravity cancel, sidelight to celebrate. All right, it was actually Power Ranger with the highest amount of damage there, 750. I mean, Power Ranger was crazy, but what an awesome performance coming up from the green team. And all off of the back of that Game 1 loss, too.
Yeah, they've all seemed to step up. Every single one of them. Hughes had that breakout moment in Game 2.
Yeah.
Hazard, we can't say too much more about that player. And then Power Ranger right here just said, you guys know who I am, and I'm going to show you who I am.
Yeah.
Right here, front and center. So everyone's had these moments to show why they have the lead they have.
Look at that.
The double dunk, no Oreos. Come on.
Every single Hazard clip when ending these stocks here is basically a highlight at this point.
Definitely.
Look at that down into weapon throw. Dexterr just had it completely rough there on the Mornex switch. We're going to see Power Ranger. I think this was the D-Light recovery.
Yep.
And even though the knockout wasn't flashy, the fact that Power Ranger was able to do that 3 stocks in a row is what really made that a huge deal. And that down air into nair, one of the fastest conversions off of that I've seen in a very long time coming out from HazardL, just makes me so excited to be able to see Greatsword being played at such a level here in South America. It's so awesome. We've got a team that won with Jaeun and Vector.
I'm saying, man, are you kidding me?
I mean, they really got themselves some all-stars there in terms of just like when it comes to